Hey there, this is just a real quick video on how to do brows. I feel like as we get older and mature, we lose the color and the intensity of our brows and where the hair grows. So it's really important to fill those in and keep that as the framework of the face. Enjoy. So here we have some fabulous brows. She's got an amazing shape. So we have our front part of the brow, we have our tail, and then we have our arch here. So we're gonna just accentuate a little bit. It looks like she has had a little bit of tattoo work done in the past. Maybe not microneedling, but just some darkening up. And we do have a little bit of fading there. We're just gonna go in and we're gonna just make this all look natural. You're gonna start on the side of your nose, go up. So we're gonna bring that just a little bit inward. Your brows are the frame of your face, so it is very important to get that framework rocking and rolling. Towards the end there, I feel like we should end about here and follow that natural lash line. We're just gonna bring these tails out just a touch. So we've got our fronts marked, we've got our arches up here. We don't really need to mess with that right now. We're gonna bring our tails out here. I'm gonna be using something like this on her, which is a little bit sharper in angle. I like to use a brow palette. You can even use eyeshadows, and I like to go more on the neutral scale and go more for cooler colors. When you go more in the warmer tones and the undertones, it can really make them pop out in a very distracting way. We want the most natural brows. So you're gonna follow the shape that the hair would actually grow. So instead of starting here and just kind of drawing a line, I'm just kind of coming and flicking out. See, we're gonna add a little bit there. We're gonna bring it up in the arch. But we're almost just kind of recreating this brow using her natural shape. So you can see we've already just got a few hairs here. So they start kind of going up and then they slowly just fall down like little dominoes going down, and then we just draw that tail on. You're gonna do the same thing with the other side. We can get darker with our lines, but you don't want that to be in the front. You might want to come in with more of a wheat color or something a little bit lighter just on the inside, just to add a little bit of dimension here. See, it kind of adds texture as well. Because you see sometimes it just looks like people just kind of took one color and just went. Also, it looks like we could get a little more under here. So I like to start this way. We can lay the brush flat and bring it up, and we can just kind of build that shape. So this is what I used kind of in the front. This is what I used to block everything out with. And then I might even go in with something even as dark as this. I won't be pressing super hard, but just to get a few hairs in the back and add even more dimension. I love to start with powders. I mean, there are waxes, there are pencils. I feel like sometimes when you do pencils, if you're only using a pencil, it can tend to look a touch intense. But when you're using a few colors and you're breaking it up, it just looks so great. Sometimes there's even, if you're filling in, you can even go backwards and come in. And sometimes that'll even fiddle with the hairs and do something. It just gives it, when you're bringing it in on a different point, it really kind of floofs everything up and makes it look different. I'll show you another thing that we can do, brow pencils. And this one is the It Cosmetics. It's almost like you have to kind of press to get a line, and it just looks very natural. So this is another thing you can do after you filled it in. If you just want to get a few hairs, you can just kind of draw that shape even on a little bit more and fill it out. Or if you feel like you want to come down here and get down there, I'm just pretty much following the same shape. My brows are a bit unruly. I can actually bring them up with that spoolie, and they'll be a little bit longer. So sometimes I'll have to kind of rein them in, and I'll brush them up, and then I'll just kind of pull this down, and then I'll bring them to the side, and then I'll just kind of make them go the way that you want them to go. They look natural, they're not too crazy. If you also feel like you're having a hard time and you do have more unruly brows than she does, you can also do a brow wax, or you can trim them. Sometimes I pull them up for clients, and I'll even just go up with the cuticle scissors and I'll trim them a little bit, then I'll bring them down. And then there's waxes you can use. This is even just like an NYX wax pencil, and you can just kind of come up and do that, and then you can lay them down again. There's also a brow gel. They have this in multiple colors. This is a clear. This is kind of one that's just good for everybody. And this also helps the brows kind of stay where they need to be. and just add a little bit of lift and a little bit of color. And when you are a mature woman, these arches are very important. Think about cartoon strips where it's, someone has a straight across brow. Someone's brows are kind of going in like this more so than this. When you have a good shape and a nice arch, you don't want to look surprised all the time. You don't want to look angry. You want it to have a natural flow and just come on down. This is a good way to recreate a brow. Thank you so much for watching Prime Women's Guide to Beauty, where we are redefining what it means to be a woman over 50. If you enjoyed the video, please click like and subscribe.